How many people are cheating in this leaderboard? Just give me a percentage. Try to guess. You'll probably guess wrong. But let's figure it out together. You see this player? His name is Tocopero. I hope I'm not butchering. I'm sorry. He has the fastest clear on this arena quest with video proof. With a time of 1 minute 50 seconds and 21. Link in the description, by the way, if you want to check out the full round. He's insane. So if we keep Tocopero in consideration here, we can see how there's 4,300 players that managed to achieve a faster time than him, for which there's no video proof whatsoever. But of course, it's possible that some people got a good time and decided not to upload it, or maybe they were not recording, okay? It's plausible. So let's say there's at least 30 players that have achieved a better time than Tocopero, legitimately. I doubt it, but let's say. That would still leave us with 4,300 players that are faster than the fastest run for which we have video proof. I think it's more than safe to assume that at least 4,300 times are cheated. And that's 43% of the leaderboard. But don't worry, the percentage gets way higher. Now we can assume that there's also cheated times, of course, that are slower than Tocopero, right? Because in the weak mind of the cheater, achieving a slightly slower time than the best makes their run more believable and less obvious, right? So at this point, I assumed that at least another 30% of times slower than Tocopero had to be cheated. And this brings us to 73%, okay? Which is a somewhat conservative number, but that's what I was thinking, and that's what I said in the Most Hunted subreddit, which got a lot of attention for you guys, actually. You guys gave a lot of possible solutions as well, but we'll talk about the solutions later. We are not even done talking about the problem. We're currently sitting on the pretty safe assumption that at least 73% of the runs in the leaderboard are cheated. But after today, I can tell you that this number is very far from correct. Very far. Now remember that 73%, okay? We'll talk about it more in a second. I want to take a minute to talk about VirginKiller. VirginKiller has achieved a sub 1 minute time with the Greatsword. VirginKiller is an insanely skilled player. But let's check his hunter profile. Let's see. VirginKiller is hunter rank 999. Not surprising. He has 58 hours of playtime. But let's check, out of curiosity, how many times he did the Arena Challenge quest. He did it 1 time. Because VirginKiller is so good that he can get a sub 1 minute time with a weapon that he never used before on the first try. That's VirginKiller for you. Okay, let's keep going, guys. Let me give you guys another number. Over 270,000 damage-altering mods have been downloaded. This number only includes 3 English community websites, does not include cosmetic or graphic altering mods. This is damage-specific mods or cheats. So we are excluding private discords, the Japanese, Chinese, Korean communities, which are huge, by the way, and other small non-English communities around the world. But keep in mind that the game sold 10 million copies, so it's probably a higher number than 270,000. But let's not fantasize, okay? Let's just use the actual number that we have. In case you don't believe me, by the way, this number, you can verify yourself with a simple Google search. I'm not putting any links here, but I think you know how to look for it.
270,000 damage altering mods have been downloaded. This number only includes 3 English community websites, does not include cosmetic or graphic altering mods. So we are excluding private discords, the Japanese, Chinese, Korean communities around the world. But keep in mind that the game sold 10 million copies, so it's probably a higher number than 270,000. But let's not fantasize, okay? Let's just use the actual number that we have. In case you don't believe me, by the way, this number, you can verify yourself with a simple Google search. I'm not putting any links here, but I think you know how to look for it.
So we are at 270,000 downloaded damage-altering mods. Quick disclaimer, by the way, if you guys use these mods in an offline environment, good for you. That's cool. Your game, and you do what you want with it, as long as it stays offline. But out of these 270,000 people, not everyone will cheat online, just like we said. And let's say that not everyone that cheats online will cheat in the arena. So let's make the very idiotically minimalistic assumption that only 5% of 270,000 will cheat in the arena. Only 5%. That is 13,500 people in a leaderboard that can only accommodate 10,000. Let's go back to the percentage I assumed initially, that 73%, you remember? I said 73% of the leaderboard was cheated, but this number was before I knew the number of downloads, right? Suddenly, 73% is a rookie number, but wait, because there's something else. I found all the videos of the legitimate quest times, okay? Guess how many I found? Don't look in the description, you'll find them there, but if you want to guess, just try. I'll tell you. It's 5. 5 runs out of 10,000. There's video proof of 5. Let's be extremely generous here and say that there's 95 more people that have a legit leaderboard time for which there's no video proof. So let's speculate 100 legit times. Very generous speculation, okay? This would still bring us to this conclusion. 99% of the leaderboard is cheated. 99%. Okay? Now we'll move on to talk about possible solutions, but first, something I didn't mention yet. There's actually a cosmetic that will be awarded for the fastest 10,000 times. It's a pendant that, according to Capcom, will also be available at a later time for people that didn't get it. I wonder how many will get that legitimately. Nice. Let's talk about solutions. And here you guys suggested many different things. There is one that I liked particularly. I'll keep it for last. Okay, first people suggested to separate console and PC leaderboards, because PC is where all the cheaters are. And okay, this is kind of undeniable, guys. I'm a PC player myself, but let's not deny, obviously, even though there's cheats on console as well, there's always been, even in Monster Hunter World, right? We need to be honest here, and yes, most cheaters, by a pretty wide margin, are on PC, okay? This solution would solve some issues. Since the amount of cheats for console is way lower, we would definitely see a more realistic time on the console leaderboards, right? I don't necessarily have anything against this solution, other than the fact that in a world without cheaters, having one leaderboard would be the best thing, since the game mostly plays the same for both platforms, and this would incentivize competition, right? Genuine competition. Solution number 2, remove the leaderboards. It gives clout to cheaters by displaying their name on the leaderboards. And the leaderboards are full of cheated time, so might as well get rid of them. Again, there is truth on this, of course. If 99% of the leaderboard is cheaters, then why have it in the first place? I kind of agree with this. This would, of course, go against the competitive aspect of the game, which many of you don't like. I understand it, and I respect that. But on this topic, it is true that Monster Hunter never officialized the competitive play in the form of speedrunning, but speedrunning itself has always been part of this series since its release. People have been speedrunning for 20 years, okay? And I don't think there's anything particularly wrong with introducing an official competitive feature to the game. At the end of the day, you can decide to ignore it if you don't like it, which is fine. And just leave the leaderboard to people that enjoy that competitive aspect, okay? And cheaters, of course, in this case. Solution number 3. This is a mix of anti-cheat solutions, and this got a little bit complicated because some people proposed to implement mandatory video proof, and this is, well, what if some people cannot record? I mean, that's anyone can record, even with the phone, okay? But maybe some people don't want to. I don't know, man. I'm not against this, to be honest. Other people said that the devs should be able to check for modified values. What these cheaters do most of the time is either they give themselves like 100% affinity or they modify the motion values, right? So like the damage each move does, right? It's higher for them. I don't know if Capcom has access to this data. I wish they did. I hope they do. But the other problem with this is if they actually implemented some type of anti-cheat, is that this could potentially raise problems relatively to the more innocent mods, right? They would be the more innocent mods would be flagged as well as cheating, right? I use the glow removal myself, for example, together with the lens distortion, right? I see nothing wrong with the mods. In fact, the modding community itself is awesome, okay? So I hope that Capcom can find a solution to avoid banning the use of these cosmetic mods as well, right? Solution 4, and this is the one I think would be the best. And that's to introduce a ranking system higher than A or higher than S, which is the equivalent to A in Japan. And we call it SS or something, and just reward players for achieving this specific rank. I think this solution is probably the best and could definitely work out for everyone, in my opinion. If you disagree, let me know. Now, something else. Dear Capcom, you just made $500 million in revenue. I think you can afford to spend some time and resources in improving the cheater situation. You guys have experience with competitive games in the form of Street Fighter, right? The Street Fighter series. And you owe it to the 10 million people that purchased your game. Otherwise, just remove the leaderboard because a type of leaderboard like this belongs in a mobile game, okay?